Hey, hi, this is Sandeep, and today in this tutorial I'll be explaining you about the view criterias. So in the previous tutorials I have already explained much about them. So in this tutorial I have taken department view as example. See, what I have done here is I have taken the department, I created EO and VO over the department table, and here's the VO, and on this VO I have basically created two view criterias. Okay, so let's just have a quick look on them, that what I have created. If you double click on it, then it will appear. I just have said here that department name contains this bind variable, and location ID is equal to this. So with these operators, with the AND operator, I'm connecting this. So here's the complete where clause which would appear. So I'm just filtering with the department name and location ID. So this is one of the view criteria. If you look at the other, I am just having the location ID. I'm just filtering the department records based on the location ID. Okay, so these are the two view criteria that I have created here. Okay, so now what when you create these view criteria, right, what would happen? Let's see. Suppose you want to create one page. You go ahead and say new, and I want a JSF page. Okay, and it would create a page. We will just say a blank page, and it would create it. So now that, go to the data control, refresh it, and if you go on department VO, okay, so remember we created view criteria, so those all new view criteria that have been created will appear under the name criteria here. Okay, so as you see over here, you have got these two view criterias. So let's say that I want to have this view criteria being run on the UI. I will say query and ADF query panel with table. Okay, so whatever settings you want, you can just go ahead and select them, and here it would appear. Now what would happen is that though you have dragged and dropped only this view criteria, but as you can see there is a drop down over here. When you click on this drop down, another view criteria would also appear over here. Okay, so I will describe the settings in detail right now. So let's just go ahead and click and try to run it and see what it presents us with. So as you can see, here is our page, and here is our drop down over here. If you drop, and you will see two view criteria are available, though you dragged only this one, but the other one also came in handy. Okay, so actually I will tell you what the setting for this is. See, if you go to this view criteria, right, if you go over here, go to the view criteria here and go to the UI hints. If it is ticked show in list, that means it will be showed over here. Okay, if you go ahead and just unselect it or deselect it, what would happen is that it won't be up here, it won't appear over here. Similarly for the other view criteria also, other one, if you don't want this to appear over there in the UI, just remove the check on this and it would disappear from there. Okay, so right now both of them are checked. That's why if you just drag one of them, the other one will also appear over here. Okay, so now it says one more thing, match all and match any. See here in this view criteria I had two bind variables, and these two are the bind variables basically. So here I can go ahead and select them. Here location ID is coming as this drop down, because in the department VO, if I go, I would see that in the attributes column, location ID, I have configured it as list of values over here. Okay, I'll explain list of values also in detail in the upcoming tutorials. So here I am supplying to binary. So I'll say IT. See, I'll just say this is the basic search, and right now it is saying match all and match any. So what is this match all and any? It tells you whether it is going to, if you say all, it is going to combine this condition and this condition with the help of AND. If you say any, it will combine this and this with the OR condition. So I'll say all, and I will say, let's say 1700, right? So it should combine them both and show me the results. So here are the results which have IT in them, and the department is 1700, as you can see over here. Okay, so this is the result that is there. And suppose I don't select location ID, then and I say all. Okay, so the department name bind variable will get IT, and location ID, it won't get anything at all. Okay, so what will happen is that, if you remember, I explained to you that in the query, if you go over here in this view criteria, I am supplying the department name. Okay, I'm supplying department name, but I don't supply location ID. So location ID will be kind of null or something like that, right? It won't be supplied basically. So this condition, as you can see, is marked as optional. That means if you don't supply this item, this criteria item won't even appear in the where clause. So if you supply only this, then only this much will appear in the where clause, and this much will not appear in the where clause. Okay, so if you supply only department name, if you supply only one of this, and even if you say all, you are trying to say this and this, but as you see that this one was corresponding to a bind variable which was marked as optional. So if it is marked as optional, this would automatically be removed from the where clause, right? So if you say IT and search, you will get all the records. Okay, yes, you get all the records where this IT is present, as you can see, right? Here is one more this first record was not coming when we had location ID as 1700, but right now it is coming. So if you say any, then also you get the same actually results that it says combine this and this with the help of OR condition. Okay, so if you don't select this, probably you should get the same result. Yes, because this won't even appear in the where condition. If you say this or 1700, a lot of record would come. See, lot of records came, right? Because this is any says this or this. So you can actually control this match all and any also. If you go inside this view criteria, UI hints, here is show match all and match any. If you select this option will appear over here. If you don't select this option won't appear, and the all attributes would appear in the same way, and when you supply them, this will be supplied directly to the bind variables, and whatever query you have framed over here, the same will take place, right? Now here is one more setting called as basic or advanced. This shows that whatever mode you want to select, I mean, if you say basic, then by default this mode will be selected. If you say advanced, then that mode will be selected. Show operators. So okay, I'll try to show you what is this show operators now. Okay, right now this show operators is marked as in advanced, right? So if you go to the advanced mode, this will be enabled. If you try, if you can also enable it right here also, but I won't do that. Let's go to the advanced mode and test this. Let's go to the advanced mode. So here, as you see, the two department, here you can select match all and any also. Let's select all, and department name contains, see, I described, have this as my ID, as my query, right? This contains this, so I use this contains and equal to operator while framing this where clause, right? But actually these are basically the ingredients of this criteria item, contains and equal to. But if in this show operators, I have selected in advanced. So in advanced mode, basically you can alter the, you can, as you can see in this drop down, you can alter the operator itself. You can say starts with department starts with S, okay, and say any, okay, and location ID, let's say I want to look in location ID which is not equal to 1700. If you search this, you will get these records. So in these records, as you can see, location ID is never equal to 1700. Oh, I'm sorry, I should select match all, not any, then select. So as you can see, in these, location ID is never equal to 1700, and it starts with S also, right? So what this option will do, this option will basically show you the operators so that the end user can customize the results. Okay, so I've covered almost all the options. This is only left. So basically query automatically, what it will do, okay, firstly I'll show you one more option. Suppose you want to save this result, right? You can go ahead and click on save. It will give you a name. You can customize this name also. I'll say save this whole name and then save. Okay, so now let's say I migrate to the other criteria and I just try to search something else, and Now again I want to see the previous result which has been saved. If you click over here, automatically it will give you the result set and whatever values you filled over here. So basically this gives you the options, this save button gives you the option to save your search. Okay. Now there is this query automatically. Okay, so what it does, see, I will show you. If you go on the one of the criteria items, sorry, if you go to the one of the view criteria, if you select any one of them, and as you select other, okay, the same result is shown over here. See, view criteria, and if you just migrate, it just flips, but actually the same result, shipping and sales. Again, shipping and sales. So basically what happens, if you remember, on this view criteria I ran a query over here and this came, and now when I'm selecting any other view criteria also the same is happening. So what is actually happening, it is not executing any more queries. Whatever query the last time it has executed, the same query result it is showing every time, regardless of whatever we are selecting in the drop down. See, if you select the save result, obviously that result set would come which you have saved. But if you select this view criteria itself, okay, if you try to select, this is the version which I saved, so if you select this, obviously whatever you have saved that would come, no doubt. But if you go ahead and click any one of the view criteria, nothing will happen, no query will be fired to the database, because whatever query has been fired for the last time, the same result, the result which has been derived from the last query, the same result are going to be displayed. So if you want that as you select this one, the query corresponding to this, the view criteria corresponding to this should trigger, and if you select this, then the query, the view criteria corresponding to this should trigger. Then you should basically select query automatically. If you select OK, okay, let's just say OK, and now what would happen, as you will select any one of these, automatically the query will be fired. So let's just go ahead and save this and run this again to see what is happening over here. Okay, basically actually I selected this only for one view criteria. If you see this, I have selected query automatically for this. I want query automatically for this also. Okay, this would ensure that as you select this one from the drop down, this should appear, sorry, the view criteria corresponding to this should trigger. Okay, so this would make sure, and yeah, whatever appears in the drop down, that also can be controlled. See, right now it is appearing with this name. Okay, if you want to customize, you can say here by location ID, so this name would appear. Similarly, if you want to customize this one also, let's see here, by name and location ID. Okay, so this should make sure that whatever we are getting in the drop down, that is controlled. So let's just rerun it. Okay, so as you see over here, the names have been changed. Okay, whatever we try to change, if you click on this, automatically as you select this, the view criteria corresponding to this is executed, and the results it is actually displayed. Now you would be wondering that how results are displayed when we didn't even supply this location, right? What is actually happening over here, if you see at the result set, all the records of this department are mentioned over here, and if you click on this, automatically these two, the view criteria corresponding to this would be executed, and in result set, as you see, again all the records of the department table are executed. So what is happening is that as you are selecting this, it gets selected and the view criteria query gets fired, and now that as it gets fired, but here we have not supplied anything, right? So what happened is that it picked up not any value, it didn't pick any value. So when it didn't pick any value from here, then in this view criteria it didn't get any value for this, it didn't get any value for this. So these all things were not included in the where clause itself. So ultimately only select star from departments query would get fired, and ultimately we will get all the results in the result set here. Okay, so that's the reason it is actually displaying all. If you want to do, like, if you go ahead in this, see, if you see what is available in this query, it is only by location ID. So this is the bind variable corresponding to this. If you say here that its default value is 1700, so what would happen when you try to run this view criteria from that UI? Okay, so as it is query automatically selected, then what would happen, it would get 1700 for its default value, and it will run it, and it will display the results only for 1700. So you can try this also. If you just again rerun it, so what should happen is that just remember that here I have supplied 1700 as the default value for this bind variable in this criteria, for this criteria. Okay, and for these two criteria I have selected query automatically as yes. I have checked them out. So as you select this one, okay, view criteria corresponding to this would be executed. What view criteria tells it? It tells location ID is equal to this, and its default value will be picked up as 1700, and this would be executed, and the results would be displayed. So that's how actually it should work. Now let's see at the UI. Now as you see over here, as I select this by location ID, automatically the result sets will have only those which have location ID as 1700. Okay, so this one explains you about the view criteria very well. Now let's say with these variables, with these view criterias and with these bind variables only, there is a situation that programmatically you want to apply. Right now we are seeing in the UI directly by selecting from the drop down. See, one thing more I would like to tell you here, if you select the other one, here you are getting these two, right, and you can fill any one of them and you can leave the other one, and automatically it will be taken care as I already explained you. If you want to force the user to fill both of them, what can you do? You can go over here and say that these both here are required. This also I have explained in the previous tutorial. If you mark this as required and this as required, then what would happen? If user tries to fill only one, it would throw error. Okay, so this is how it shows. And one thing more, that here rendered is there, right? If you want to show the user only this, I mean if you want to show the user only this name, right, so see this setting you understood, right, required, and if you want to force the user to fill both of them. So right now I'll select both of them as optional. I won't change anything. Now here, if you both of them are optional, I have selected over here. Now if you come over here and if you say that I don't want to render this on the UI, I don't want to render this, I just want to render this here, so you can say, you can select this and you can say that it is never displayed, or you can say it is displayed only in the advanced mode, or you can say it is displayed in the basic mode, or you can say in the all modes. Whatever you want to, wherever you want to render it, you can actually select from here. Okay, so if you say never, it won't be displayed at all, never. And when it is not displayed anywhere, you can supply the value for this, okay, with the default. And if you don't supply the value by default, I mean you can go inside this location ID, loc ID, and you can supply the default value. Suppose you want to, you supplied only 1700, so when the user sees, user will enter only this, and location ID will be equal to the default value as 1700. So this whole query will be generated, and the result set whatsoever comes would be displayed. So it is how this rendered all takes place. I'm not gonna touch this also right now. So this is all about the view criterias. And if you have designed these view criterias, right now you are just selecting from here and just trying to search it and do some functionalities, right? If you want to search them programmatically, if you want to apply these view criterias programmatically, what we can do, see, I have taken an application module. I am already created one implementation class for this. Here's the implementation class, and I have written this method over here, iterate by view criteria. So for in this, what I am doing, I am taking the view object here in the department view, and I'm creating one view criteria. Actually I'm getting view criteria with what has been already declared by me. Okay, this name you have to write from here, department view criteria by department name and LOC ID. So this I have got the view criteria over here, and simply I have said DEPTO apply view criteria VC, this one. Okay, just you need to remember is that view object, if you talk only view object, that is an interface, and view object IMPL is the class, is the implementation class which implements view object interface. Okay, so if you want to apply this, if you want to use this method, this method apply view criteria, so this is only available in this class. Okay, if you say only view object, if you had declared here as view object DEP department view as the view object, then if you try to apply this method, it won't be there because this is available only in the implementation class. So here I have declared implementation class and I have got the criteria, simply applied it, and when I applied it, I remember that these two are the bind variables which have to be supplied. So in the normal way I have supplied their values and then executed it and then iterated through it. So all this you already know, right? So one method is this, iterate by view criteria, and here as you can see I have supplied IT and 1700. Okay, so if you just run this app module, and one thing more I did is that I went here and client interface and then I exposed that method iterate by view criteria here. Okay, so I exposed it, that's why you will be able to see how to expose. I have already shown in the previous tutorial. I'm gonna not do it again. So here is our app module and iterate by view criteria, execute, it's a success. If you see the result, here are all the department name that I'm displaying, and I was displaying only the department name, where department name contains IT and location ID is 1700. Okay, so this is how you can apply the view criteria programmatically. If you want to create a new view criteria that has not been created over here, you can do that also, but you would rarely require it, because what would happen is that if you want to define a new criteria itself, you can put the set where clause and set the values or set the clauses over there only. So but anyway, I'll just cover this. I have written another method over here, okay, and I exposed this method also in the same way that I told you. So here also I'm taking this view object implementation class and finding this view object, and then I am having one view criteria. So here I am saying I want to create criteria, so department view dot create criteria, and then I want to create criteria rows basically. Okay, so I have called it as vc dot create view criteria row. So once I say this, then I have said that in this row I want to set attribute location ID is equal to this, and then set attribute department name like this. Okay, so and then I have added add row to VCR. I mean this VC is the view criteria. In this view criteria I have added this row which was created. Okay, and then I have applied this view criteria over here in the department view, and then simply executed it and then iterated through it, and now here I am displaying the department name, right, where location ID is this and department name is just like this. So basically you can run this also and test this. So here select app module and select this one, execute, and if you see, so all the department name have been mentioned, have been displayed over here, which are under this location ID and which have department name like this. Okay, so department name is, yes. So basically here what is happening, here we have mentioned this condition, and this is how it has been executed and the result have been displayed here. Okay, basically what we have created here in the view criteria is exactly the same, this new view criteria that we have defined, but just the difference is that when you run this you are finding different number of records, because it actually says department name contains IT. So when you say this IT, when you supply this bind variable with this name, right, and if you come over here, if you see department name contains department ID, so here basically it is converted to the upper and then compared with the upper. So whatever you supply, either it be in lowercase or upper case, it's actually case insensitive. So here you will get more number of records. You will get all the records which are of this location ID plus department name has this IT or capital IT. Okay, but here you have quoted like this. So here all records would have 1700 as the location ID and department name exactly same like this, not the capital IT. So I hope I've explained view criteria in detail. I will see